often wonder, I'm like, where was the time when I was sold, and maybe it was one of the programs running on the undercurrent that it ends in a fairy tale. The storybooks we were read as children, I was like, where's my fairy tale?
Yeah.
And that's just you. I think most people, maybe Richard Branson has a different experience, or whoever we want to put in that role of just flies around the world and makes billions of dollars and is just happy, happy, happy. Maybe. But you never know. My experience has been most times when you sit down with some of these highly influential people with all the money in the world, they've presented at times as quite sad, as quite lost, as missing a purpose. So you never know. Cliché, you have not walked a mile in their shoes, but that's probably the reality.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, that's a really important message, because to your point, I think we sort of put certain people up on a pedestal as having it all and having no problems. And I just don't think that's the reality. Everybody's got something they're dealing with. And I think the more open, look, this is part of the reason why I wanted to start discussing what I discuss, is to say, look, here's me. This is I put out a picture of the day I almost killed myself on Instagram to be like, hey, I come from this background and this is how low I got. And like, it's okay if you feel this way too, right? Like, you are not, like, truly not alone. There's a lot of like, you're not alone messaging out there, but I wanted to be like, no, really, I'm with you too, right? This is the way I was suffering. And I just think everybody's got some level of that. To your point about compassion, I just recorded a podcast episode that I haven't put out yet, but it's with Chris Henderson, and he's one of the guitarists for Three Doors Down, the band. And he's been with that band basically since they started. He played on their first album, and he's a friend of mine. Kind of met when I was running Killcliff as president. But I had him on because I knew that he had struggled with alcohol and drugs, and kind of wanted to talk about addiction and what that does to you. And then music as well, as sort of like as a therapy, and sort of like how that can help us in various ways. Well, he went into just all this past abuse he had as a child. Really heavy stuff I've never experienced. And I didn't even know, quite honestly, you hear about some of these things, but when you don't know somebody that has been through it, or you don't know, maybe you do, but you don't know that they've been through it. It's almost like, does that really happen to people? Holy shit. It was intense, heavy stuff. And so here I'm thinking exactly what you're saying. This is a rock star, right? This is someone who's had commercial success and #1 hits and everything, and has this exceptionally heavy burden from childhood that they carry around and still deal with. And that's exactly the feeling I had at the end of that interview. Man, you just don't know what people are going through, and we should really be more compassionate with one another. Like we're all dealing with something.